just hot mic. Or I can do it if you want. I mean, do it if you want. It's hot mic, FYI. I tell people.
When you have to live land, like one of the best parts is when you get to sleep all day. So
that was cool, man. It's a little stud.
Yeah. How's everything going back in LA?
Oh, amazing, bro.
Yeah? Oh, yeah?
Like, bro, I'm yeah.
Congratulations. Actually,
I have to make a call.
Actually, had we all got
That was fucking, so that kind of, but it was like, that's kind of wild, because they're looking for Charlo.
Yeah.
But last week, I think that's what.
What happened was it didn't get advertised. Just the views too strong.
I was kind of, once, I was kind of, like, can you come home to me?
Yeah.
I was trying to do it. Right. Like I was outside talking to whoever was right. That kind of got me like, oh, yeah, I can see why. And then I got Canelo. Because I have to go take my COVID. That's where it's doctors are doing.
Hey, Crystal, were you alone?
I think
This one, I'd say for sure.
Just you two?
Me rolling?
that was the morning after Reynoso went forward. I never asked him about it.
Yeah.
So I asked him about it that morning.
Right.
He was like, and you know, like my Spanish is fucked up, right? And I'm trying to talk to him in Spanish. But yeah, but he knows what I'm trying to say.
Right.
So I was like, oh, I get it. Yeah, he was already kind of nodding.
I know. Yeah, oh, yeah. It was the iced tea. Yeah. What was so weird about rappers back then, when they were young, it sounded like they didn't get puberty. Like, Rakim and Ice-T. Because you go back and listen to this first album, I need tracks a lot. It's like, you were 21, why did you sound like you were 13 years old? I get it, you were a young man.
Right. You weren't that young.
Ice-T saying in that song, Original Gangsta. It's like, grown ass man. What happened to you?
Why are you talking like the real one? Yeah, man. So no, man, it's
different in the 80s. We didn't get puberty until 29.
right. Now everyone's growing up so fast on the internet.
Yeah.
Everyone's just like been 40-year-old at 17-year-old. It's not like a 40-year-old at 17. Yeah, man. Yeah, so, yeah, bro, like I just, and then, like I said, last week was my best friend, it was Charlo and Ted, like the main thing. And I
was on your channel for this one. Yeah, I went to KO.
Yeah.
For Charlo.
Yeah, I think people really didn't push it as there. So it's kind of
right.
It's a fact that there's some out there, that's pretty good. I went to Thursday.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you're like the only one asking us. Sometimes I remember.
And I just listen to like social media.
Yeah.
I'm constantly putting something on the social media platform that YouTube.
Mic test 1 2. Mic test 1 2. San Antonio, Alamo City. Good.
Yeah, it's missing a few things, man. That's not your fault. It's different. It's just
Your Judge, if something happened to you, you can
What's up, bro? How you doing, bro? Good to see you, man. Looking sharp, bro.
thanks.
Pink jacket now.
Oh yeah, captain. All right, give me a minute.
What? Oh, hey. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. Thank you. I was like, why is Fiscal going to his script? Using his credit card. I think third you're fine.
There, no, nobody's there.
But there's also the.
Let me see. Got them like I can take care of you.
Press conference starting soon. Share it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you share this with your boxing people. If you, whoever you want. Hey! What's up, dog? How you doing, bro? Good to see you. I didn't know you were coming. Yeah, what's up? What's up? Yo, what's up, big dog? How you doing, bro? Good to see you. How you doing, Ronnie? How you doing? Is that you? Yeah, good, good. This has a big fight feel to it, which is pretty dope. A lot of people in town.
Okay, so I'm live now.
Make sure you like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, everybody. You know what it is.
¿Voy ahí o no? Altavoz que
Excuse me.
¿qué haces? ¿Cómo andas? Tanto tiempo, ¿eh?
Es un lugar
para ir. ¿Cómo estás?
Like and subscribe button. Oops. Too far. Hit the like and subscribe button. Appreciate you guys watching. Start in 60 seconds.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to this fabulous fight town of San Antonio, Texas. I'm Brian Custer, the host of Showtime Championship Boxing, and this is the final press conference for Charlo versus Castaño. And in this sport, we want the best fighting the best. This year, especially this summer, Showtime Championship Boxing has put an emphasis on the best fighting the best, and that's what we have coming your way on Saturday. Sometimes it's a rarity in this sport when you get an undisputed fight, but we got one here. We got champion versus champion for the 154-pound crown, and it will be a historic fight because for the first time in this four-belt system, we will have an undisputed champion at 154 pounds. You know, boxing fans, they love unification fights, but fighters, they crave to be undisputed. And it's going down on Showtime Championship Boxing this coming Saturday here from San Antonio, Texas, July 17th. And the winner will be just the sixth undisputed champion in this current four-belt system. And again, the first undisputed champion at 154 pounds in this four-belt era. July 17th, Showtime Championship Boxing, AT&T Center here in San Antonio, and it is brought to you by Premier Boxing Champions. The telecast jumps off at 9 p.m. Eastern, that is 6 o'clock Pacific time, and it will also feature two other great fights. You've got the interim WBA lightweight champion, Rolly Romero, defending his title against Anthony. You get in the co-main event, plus you got the unbeaten. Listen, don't go anywhere because this is about everyone inside of 2 rounds as he takes on the hard-hitting Emmanuel Elim in a 10-round bout. That's going to open the broadcast. Now, tickets for this event, they are on sale, but they're selling fast. And if you want to get some, you have to go to AT&TCenter.com to purchase your tickets. This event is being promoted by Lions Only Promotions and, of course, TGB Promotions. and make sure you get your tickets, because you do not want to be that guy standing outside the AT&T Center on Saturday, trying to call somebody, trying to get inside the venue. The Romero fight is also being promoted by Mayweather. Now listen, as I told you, when it comes to Showtime Championship Boxing, we put an emphasis on the best fighting the best. And the man who put together our fight schedule, I like to call him boxing's best friend. He's intelligent, he's informative, he's innovative, his swag is on 100. He is the president and GM of Showtime Sports. He's none other than Steven Espinoza.
Thank you, Brian. And before I get into this fight card, you want to point out, or at least give a comment. If you feel like you see Brian Custer everywhere, it's because you do. And he has been added to the ESPN roster in a very high-profile role. From SportsCenter to calling live games, you're going to be seeing a lot more of Brian. We're proud of him. We've been, he's one of our homegrown stars. I want to congratulate him on this well-deserved recognition and a great new gig. Don't worry, you'll still be seeing him on Championship Boxing. We got a tight hold of him, but it's well-deserved to see him, getting other networks involved in a very high-profile role at ESPN. Now, with respect to this card here tonight, or tomorrow night, I'm going to be very brief. You don't need me talking about this card to know how big it is. It's the undisputed 154-pound title. That's all you have to say. First in history. We've got 6 fighters up here, 4 losses between them. This is a high-quality card, top to bottom. We have, in the opener, middleweight bout, Vidal and Manuel, Aline. That is a co-feature, maybe a main event on just about any other network. Rolly Romero, one of the most entertaining lightweights in the division, on a very tough substitute opponent, Anthony Yiggett. And of course, in the main event, it is the best fighting the best, as Brian points out. The consensus #1 fighter in the division, JERMELL CHARLO, again, another fighter that we're proud to say grew up on Showtime. We're thrilled to have him back. He is the best fighter in the 154-pound division. But there's one other belt out there, or one other guy who may have an argument about that. And that's the WBO champion, Brian Castaño. He's not the household name that JERMELL is, but he is a tough fighter. This is a real fight, and whoever emerges as the victor on Saturday night has earned the undisputed title. Again, thank you for joining us. We'll see you Saturday night.
Told y'all, man, this guy's swag on 100. Talk about these fights, and I think Steven hit it. I mean, you look at the main event, 2 of the best fighters on this planet at 154 pounds. You look at their records, just 1 loss between those guys. You go to the co-feature, again, 2 fighters, just 1 loss between them. And then you go to the opening fight, Vidal and Aline, again, just 2 losses separated. Is what Showtime is bringing you, competitive, high-stakes, meaningful fights. And we're going to start with the first fight of the night that begins this broadcast, because you got 2 really exciting fighters, young fighters here going at it, and Amilcar Vidal Jr. and Emmanuel Aline. Aline, 18-2-2, 11 knockouts. Vidal Jr., 12-0, 11 knockouts. Here's the interesting thing about young Vidal. He has stopped 10 of his 12 opponents inside of 2 rounds thus far. So I'll start with you, Amilcar. Let's go to Saturday. Since you have stopped 10 of your 12 opponents inside of 10 rounds, or 2 rounds, I should say, will Saturday be the same thing?
Bueno, Amilcar, la pregunta aquí de Lancaster es, Ya que pudiste tener a varios de tus rivales dentro de 2 rounds, ¿crees que el sábado se repite la historia y la pelea va a durar
I don't know who
tranquilo?
it is. I mean,
No, creo que es un gran rival, un gran oponente, sabemos de las características que tenemos enfrente, pero estamos tranquilos, me fijo en mi trabajo, tuve un gran campamento y llego al 100% y estamos tranquilos para salir a dar lo mejor el sábado.
I don't know about that because, you know, I have a great opponent in front of me, somebody that has done a great job himself. I'm focusing on my work, on what I have done. We're really confident. We have put a lot of work in the gym, and we're ready to go on Saturday night.
Emmanuel, listen, he certainly has not faced anyone as accomplished as it's Saturday, a night where we find out what Emil Vidal is all about, and are you introducing him to the championship level on Saturday night?
I mean, I'm looking forward to being a world champion. It all starts with Saturday. Whatever he's gonna bring, I'm ready for it. I've been training. I got one of the best trainers in the game. I mean, formerly he used to work out with the world champion JERMELL CHARLO. So I'm ready for whatever he got to bring. There will be no early stoppage and none of that.
You haven't fought since December of 2019. Will rust be an issue at all?
No, none at all. I've been working with the champs, man. That's the best in the division, 154 and 160. The Charlo brothers.
He says there will not be an early stoppage at all. What should we expect when you get in the ring with Emmanuel?
Bueno, él dice que esta pelea no va a terminar temprano ni loco. ¿Qué pensás vos que podemos esperar dentro del ring de parte de Vidal este sábado?
Confío plenamente en mi trabajo, en lo que hice en el gran campamento que tuve con mi equipo. Repito, sé la característica del oponente que tengo enfrente, estoy tranquilo y sé que haciendo mi trabajo a la perfección el sábado, si Dios quiere todo va a salir bien y nos vamos a llevar el triunfo.
Well, you should expect is that, you know, with me trusting my work, and I'll say it again, with the work I put in and the effort that I put in an excellent training camp, you can expect me to get the win on Saturday night.
Emmanuel, last word. What should we expect when you get into the ring with this man?
Respect a real fight. I mean, anybody knows you put me against anybody, it's gonna be a real fight. There's no easy fights. You have people like you have a good promoter. You have fighters. You want to see what they do, but when you go against me, you know it's a real test. So I'm ready to put the real work in.
That's going to be the fight that's going to open the night. And then we get to the co-feature. And once again, you got a young man who is the interim WBA lightweight champion, Rolly Romero, Anthony Yiggett, who is 24-1-1, 8 knockouts. Anthony, I'll start with you. I think same question. 25-month layoff, longest of your career. Rust at all an issue, considering you're taking on a man who's been active and obviously has a title?
No, I wouldn't say that would be an issue because I'm always training and I always make sure that I'm in shape and ready for fights like these because I know that, you know, I fought for the world title once and I know that people are gonna try to take advantage of that and kind of bring me in last minute to fight me. So I was kind of always preparing for war and yeah, that's what I got. So actually everything worked out just as planned.
And obviously, you know, you were training for another fight. But, you know, you've never fought lower than 139. It's the lowest weight you've been. So here you are fighting at 135. Will you still have that same power, you think, at this lower weight?
I think, if anything, 135 is my real weight class. And you gotta remember that, you know, I've been fighting a lot in Europe, and in European standards, I've done quite well at 140. So I haven't really felt like I need to go down to 135. And then obviously I came up here fighting for the world title at 140 and you know, realized that no, they are a bit too big for me. So I need to go back to my real weight class, which is 135. The problem is that because I'm ranked at 140, I'm getting all the fights at 140, and I'm not one to say no to a fight, and I want to back down. So I've always taken them and never really made that move down to 135. But now I'm here, now I'm making a move to the States, and now's the there's no better time than now.
Roman, listen, you were training for a lefty. Luckily, the man you'll be facing, Zach, is a lefty. And you've had a tendency to stop these guys, especially in a one round. If you look at your record, I think it's been 3 of them you've stopped in the first round. Will we see number 4 on Saturday?
Of course, in the first round.
You calling it just like that for San Antonio?
Yeah, just like that, I'm gonna call it. I'm confident with what I say.
What do you know about Anthony? What have you seen? And what does he pose that you say, I need to be cognizant of that on Saturday?
Well, I mean, he's a lefty. You know, I just always like fighting lefties. You know, so I mean, I prepared for a lefty. Austin Dulé was a lefty. You know, and I mean, this camp's been amazing. Shit, I mean, I can't even say all this times I stopped people at this camp. So I'm looking good. I'm looking really good.
This is a fabulous fight town. They love action. What can you guarantee the people of San Antonio they're going to get when they watch you step into the ring with Anthony?
Well, shit, like every single time I ever fight, everyone loves when I fight. Everybody always show up, so don't show up there. You'll miss knockout.
Anthony, final word here. You're taking on a guy who has a belt, and he says he stopped me in the first round. What can you tell people of San Antonio to expect?
Well, I mean, they can expect and get ready to dig it. And I think I'm gonna come in and make a, great fight. And, I'm gonna get the win. That's why I'm here. So, but, I see why he's so confident, and he should be. I mean, he's here to win. I'm here to win. So, and that's what the people want to see. They want to see 2 confident fighters fight, and that's what they got. So it's a perfect co-main event, warming up the people for the main event.
I can dig it. I like that. All right, here we go. So we get to the main event. And it's been a long time coming since JERMELL CHARLO has fought here in his home state of Texas. 6 years, if I'm not mistaken. Last time he's been home and fought for his home state. But the Iron Man, 34-1, 18 knockouts. He is the pride of Houston, Texas, and he will be taking on Brian CASTAÑO. Unbeaten, 17-0-1, 12 knockouts from that fabulous fighting country of Buenos Aires, Argentina. He's the WBO champion. It is the main event, and it's for the undisputed title. Mel, next 6 years, what would it mean to get this victory here in Texas in front of the home folk?
I mean, I'm excited to be back home, but I don't care where I fight. I fight anywhere. So just as long as everybody tune in, they know what time it is. I know what time it is. I'm ready. I'm more than ready. I'm excited and anxious and just want to be in the ring.
And it's one thing to be the unified champ. It's another thing to be undisputed champion. What does that mean to you, and what would it mean to you?
It's a dream come true. I wanted to be a undisputed champ when I was a child, because that's always the highest it can get in boxing. And so, to have this opportunity to see these moments, I look back and I just want to say thank you to all my team and everybody that's pushed forward for this. Thank you, Dominique, for rocking with me when I was young. He bought me shoes and I was a young man, watching him train, and Ronnie Shields, and watching other champions in the gym, like Van Holyfield, Juan Diaz, Rocky Juarez, and my whole Texas native fighters. And I just said, now is the time that me and my brother finally get the opportunity to show the world more than what we were. Samson, I fought a lot of his fighters. I see you in the crowd. I just think that now is the time. Showtime has done a terrific job with us. So has Fox, but I'm gonna say Showtime because I've been fighting on Showtime lately. But this is that moment. This is that time. Opportunities don't come too often, and if a boxer wants that, you gotta go and get it. This is my moment.
These are the kind of fights where, for a fighter, you're undisputed. You're usually pound for pound, and generally these are the kind of fights that put you in the Hall of Fame. You think this fight is what does it for JERMELL CHARLO? Pound for pound, Hall of Fame?
Man, I feel like I'm not even old enough to think about Hall of Fame, mentally. So I'm just fight, this is the time of now. So it's a Hall of Fame is like, okay, yeah, that's later. Now, right now, it's accomplishing a goal that, you know, that's gonna take 36 minutes possibly, or earlier, depending on what you know, I'll look into the Hall of Fame, into all of that other BS that they be talking about after Saturday night.
Brian, same question for you. What would it mean to you, because you come from a fighting family, what would it mean to you to be the undisputed champion, and what would it mean to Argentina that loves this sport so much?
Bueno, Brian, vos venís de una familia que tiene un historial de boxeo, pero para vos personalmente, ¿qué significaría el poder ganar esta pelea, el ser el campeón indiscutido? Y no solo para vos, ¿qué crees que significaría para tu país, para Argentina, el verte como campeón indiscutido?
Bueno, creo que la otra vuelta ya lo dije, ¿no? Es para mí lo más importante para mí, para mi equipo, mi familia, para mi país. Es una gran oportunidad de seguir sumando cosas positivas para el boxeo argentino, y esta es una gran posibilidad, ¿no? Creo que ante un gran rival en Estados Unidos, con los 4 cinturones unificando, creo que esta es la oportunidad que se nos dio y vamos a aprovecharla, ¿no? Creo que estoy en mi mejor momento y disfruto esto. Y entonces el 17 vamos a dejar todo para traernos la victoria y unificar.
Well, I've said before and I'll say it again, for me, for my team, for my family, this is yet another opportunity to leave Argentinian boxing way up there and put another star in that legacy. That's my goal. This is the opportunity that I crave, that I want, and I'm enjoying this moment. So I promise you on Saturday, July 17th, I'm going to leave it all out there for everybody.
Brian, you know, Mel's fighting here in his home state. He's considered the top fighter at 154. You made the comment this week that all the pressure's on him Saturday night. Tell us why.
Bueno, vos ya has dicho que toda la presión es de Jermell. Decinos por qué crees que la presión es suya y que vos llegás de punto pero bien cómodo.
Creo que, bueno, obviamente, ¿no? Él tiene que hacer un buen papel en su casa con su gente y brindarle su espectáculo al público, ¿no? Pero obviamente yo vengo a hacer mi trabajo, él va a hacer el suyo, obviamente. Creo que más allá de eso, yo vengo a hacer lo mío, vengo entrenando muy fuerte durante más de medio año, 8 o 9 meses, que estoy metiéndole duro a esto y esperando esta oportunidad y nada, creo que la presión para mí no hay presión, siempre fui visitante y siempre fui de punto y terminé siendo banca, así que esta no va a ser diferente, voy a trabajar y hacer lo mío.
Well, see how the pressure? He's in his home state. He has to also put on a show for the fans. So that's why, as far as I'm concerned, I have been training for 8-9 months. I've been training so hard, and I'm comfortable in the role that I'm at. In fact, I may be the underdog right now, but I always come in as the underdog, and I end up being the favorite after I win. So that's what's, what I want to see happen on Saturday, and I don't feel any pressure because I'm ready to fight on Saturday night.
Yeah? You feeling the pressure?
Nah, that's funny. I don't have no pressure on me, man. I've been here so many times in my life, I've been boxing since I was 8 years old. If I had pressure, I wouldn't be in this moment. Like, this moment is a dream come true moment. So why would I want to be under pressure? The state of Texas see me fight a lot of times. They watch me on TV, the millions around the world, and I'm excited to be in the ring. The pressure is on him. And it will show, like, you're gonna have to come and do this thing, you're gonna have to come and show me and put the pressure and all that other good stuff and avoid, bombs. Like, I'm not worried about it. I'm not focused on the crowds and all of that stuff. We know they come. We know they rock with us. We know they support us through the wins, the losses, the draws. We get love no matter what. So that doesn't change anything. I'm I'm in training. Like my system is not me to tell you about. It's for me to show you on Saturday.
Brian, one of the things you said this week was, if Charlo wants to bang, then I'm willing to bang. The power is going to make a difference in this fight. Explain to the people what you meant by that.
Bueno, vos también dijiste que si Charlo se quiere fajar, vos te vas a fajar con él tranquilamente, que el poder de los dos va a marcar la diferencia. Contanos un poco lo que quisiste decir con eso.
Bueno, eso fue una respuesta que a una pregunta que me hicieron. Creo que obviamente él va a hacer su trabajo, yo voy a hacer el mío, y si tengo que tirar menos cantidad de más potencia para hacerlo sentir el rigor, lo voy a hacer, obviamente. Creo que nada, peleas son peleas, siempre digo, no me gusta hablar mucho de las peleas, cada uno tiene su plan de trabajo, y yo respeto el mío, voy a hacer mi trabajo lo mejor que pueda para salir victorioso, obviamente. A nadie le gusta perder, así que nada, hay que ir para adelante. Como siempre digo, yo no tengo presión de nada, lo único que tengo que hacer es ir a hacer mi trabajo, que yo vivo de esto y es esto lo que hago toda la vida, así que nada, el 17 vamos a demostrar.
I meant that, you know, when it comes to it, if I have to lower my punch output to, you know, to put more power into things, I will. I really don't like to, you know, to talk about, you know, past fights, the fight itself too much, because everybody has their game plan. I have my game plan, Jermell has his, but in the end, I'm gonna do what I have to do to try to come out victorious on Saturday night. And I have, like I said before, I have no pressure, I feel no pressure, and I'm ready to go.
Mel, I know members of the media have some questions, so we'll kind of wrap it up with this. And I think I mentioned this to you before when I was looking over your record. You've got 13 knockdowns in your last 9 fights. You heard him say, hey, look, power is going to be the difference in this fight. Do you think this is a fight that will go the distance, or do you think someone's going to get knocked down in this fight?
I don't know. I can't predict the future, but just know I'm much stronger than I was. I'm much faster. I feel like I'm ready. You know, like it's not just about, you know, the power. You know, I got power in both hands, power in every punch, power in every shot from different angles. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what I can do. I'm excited to be in this moment. I'm thankful for this opportunity to be facing another champion. You know, this is not just an opponent. This is a champion. So. I'm thankful. I know he got a game plan, and we'll figure out what to do on Saturday to him.
Lastly, would you tell the people, and I love asking this question, what can you guarantee the people of San Antonio when they tune in on Showtime Championship Boxing, or for those who are spending their money to come into the AT&T Center, what can you guarantee them that they're going to see and get when you step in the ring with Ryan?
Mr. Don't Blink attitude. I mean, you might want to stay there and be tuned in, because you never know what can happen at any moment, from the 3rd round to the 8th round to the 7th round to the 4th round to the 8th round to the 11th round. I did knock people out from all around those rings. So, that was round, my bad. I did knock people out from all around that time. So, my condition is good. I know he's in good condition. So, we shall see, you know. Start this month like I ended. End it like I started.
Brian? Before I get, maybe you have the final statement. You know, you were on your honeymoon. I think you were on your honeymoon the first day, and you get the call for this fight. My question to you is, if you win, are you taking your wife back on the honeymoon that she deserves, and where you going, bro?
Bueno, él sabe que tenés una luna de miel en deuda, entonces, si ganás esta pelea, ¿te vas a llevar a Carolina, tu esposa, a la luna de miel soñada?
Seguro, obviamente. Creo que esta es una de las batallas primero que tengo que pasar. Primero está Jermell, obviamente, ¿no? Creo que primero es esta y después disfrutar, ¿no? Creo que no tuve tiempo, obviamente en Argentina me casé, a los 2 días tuve que estar acá y nada. Pero por eso te digo, este es mi trabajo, vivo de esto y primero lo primero, el 17 y después se verá lo que haremos, ¿no? Pero primero está la guerra el 17 de julio.
Absolutely, but first things first, we have a war to fight on July 17th. I'm not thinking about anything that has to do beyond JERMELL and our fight on Saturday. However, having said that, after this fight, yeah, it's gonna be time to enjoy, but my mind is fully set on Saturday night.
And what can you guarantee the people of San Antonio that they will get on Saturday when you step in the ring with Mel?
¿Qué le puedes garantizar a la gente este sábado cuando enfrentes a JERMELL?
Que bueno, que se van a disfrutar la pelea, que no lo voy a defraudar y voy a dejar todo lo que tengo que dejar para llevarme la victoria. Creo que es un gran oponente, es un gran campeón y nada, yo también por algo llegué a estar donde estoy hoy en día y nada, voy a dejar todo y le garantizo a la gente que esto va a ser una guerra y vamos a demostrar por qué estamos hoy en día acá en el primer nivel y nada, a disfrutar de esta pelea, creo que lo van a disfrutar y eso se lo voy a garantizar.
I guarantee that I'm not going to disappoint you. I guarantee that you're going to enjoy this fight, and I guarantee that you're going to see a full-out war on Saturday night. We're going to do whatever it takes to come out victorious, and in the end, we want fans to enjoy the fight here in San Antonio and both are Showtime Championship Boxing as well.
Absolutely. That's what you're going to see here. 3 fights. Of course, the main event, undisputed title at 154 pounds. I know there are members of the media who have some questions. We have a mic, and we'll just pass it around. If you could, please raise your hand and tell us who you're representing.
Aaron Cantu with FightHype.com. Mel, it seems like when the stage is the biggest, that's when you shine the brightest. You know, in fights you've been in where people believed your opponent could give you some fits, like Hatley, Lubin, and most recently Rosario, what allows you to shine in these moments in the big stage?
I mean, a focused Mel is the most dangerous Mel that you could be. So this is a great opponent. This is a great fighter. He wants to fight. He wants to dog it out. He wants to bang. He wants to do whatever. I got different skill sets. Shout out to Juan Guzman. We've been some different things. Shout out to Derrick James. We've been continued on some different things, and I feel like I'm fighting now.
So a focused Mel will be the difference. Mel, what did you make of him defeating Errol Spence in the amateurs?
That amateur shit don't matter, man. I don't know amateur shit. Shit don't matter to me. I got amateur boxing right now. This is professional, unified, undisputed championship. We can't talk about what happened in the amateurs. That accolade don't matter.
JERMELL, Danny Evans with Behind the Gloves. I wanted to ask, in the last two years, basically, since your long defeat as a professional, what do you feel that you have learned the most and been able to develop since that, and be able to get here now, not just get your title back, become unified champion, and now fight for undisputed come Saturday night?
This is how guys playing it. So I can't, put these things in order, but shout out to some of the great management, Al Heyman, for being able to put me, and shout out to the WBC, because I want to say, the WBC put me right back in the fight, right after, the controversial loss that I've taken. They put me right back in there to redeem myself. I redeemed myself with the knockout, came back with jet fuel, knocked out the Dakota guy, knocked out the Rosario guy. So then, we on this roller coaster. We steady moving. I mean, there's no stopping the show.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Buenos días. Desde Argentina para JERMELL CHARLO. ¿Cuánto paga de patente por la camioneta negra?
¿Cuánto paga de patente?
¿Cuánto paga de patente? Sí.
Well,
seguro.
Well, the question is here for Brian CASTAÑO, and the question from Lucas Tolosa here is, how much are you paying for the black license plate in your black SUV? ¿Qué es lo que?
You asked me that?
Esa es la pregunta, la tienes que responder vos.
What are you talking about? I didn't get the question. If that's the question for me. No Spanish, so you could just talk to me.
¿Cuánto? Sí, la pregunta fue esa. ¿Cuánto paga de patente y de seguro?
La pregunta es para Charlo.
La pregunta es para Charlo.
Claro, para Charlo.
Sorry. How much? Sorry, my bad. The question was for Charlo, not for Brian. How much are you paying for that black license plate in your SUV?
That's my name, man. I probably pay whatever the registration is. But I own every car that I have, bro. I own them.
Thank you. Que la respuesta era de que, o sea, es su auto y que, o sea, no solo paga, sino que también es dueño de ese auto.
Thank you. Now, Keith, in the back. In the back there.
This question's for Jermell, Keith Eiding from BoxingScene.com. Jermell, what did you think? I know he's obviously a southpaw, but what did you think of Brian Castaño's performance against a fighter you're very familiar with in Erislandy Lara? And did you think that he won the fight?
I don't necessarily want to say that I feel like Derrick James may have pulled that fight off by edge. Brian Castaño did put a lot of pressure in, and I feel that the punch rate wasn't where mine is at, the power wasn't where mine is at, so those are the fights that made the difference.
And a question for Brian also. Brian, how do you think Jermell compares to the best fighters that you fought in Michael Soro and Erislandy Lara?
Bueno, Brian, ¿cómo crees que Jermell se compara a grandes oponentes que tuviste en el pasado, como Erislandy Lara y como Soro?
No, solamente en la altura y el alcance. Creo que son boxeadores diferentes, pero cada uno con su característica. Lo único que lo relacioné fue en la altura y en la envergadura de brazos.
Just in height and reach either. Those will be the only similarities that I see between Jermell and the two opponents that you mentioned. The rest, Jermell is his own man and a tough opponent to fight.
Jermell, Brian, he's made no secret, unlike many fighters, about what his game plan is, that he's coming to bring the pressure, but ultimately, even if, you win rounds fighting like that, is he walking into too much firepower, trying to beat you that way?
We shall see Saturday. That's a question that I really can't answer, but most definitely it's dangerous just to walk into shots. It's dangerous just to come. Anything is dangerous, just coming straight forward. Most of the opponents that I fought that come like that, I'm pretty much fatality.
And also, Mel, you bring as much intensity into the ring. There's an angle, you got an edge when you come into the boxing ring. Where does that come from? Why is that, Jermell?
I put my life on the line. I got to feed my family. I got a large family. I got a lot of things that I need to get understood in this boxing world before it's over. And I wanted to fight the best fighters. I never wanted to be a guy looking around trying to make my name and my record up. If you go back over my box record and career, you can see that I always faced tough opponents. Even when I was with Golden Boy Promotions, they always put me in there with guys that was tough, and I guess they wanted to see if I could pull it off. My mindset was always stay down so you don't get cut. Like the NFL, they gotta work harder than the next person because they got somebody trying to take their position, and that's kind of what this is always about for me. And I kept that mental and I keep that drive going, and now I'm here, but I got a lot more to prove, in the world of boxing before it's over.
Jermell, my name is Joe Villanueva. I'm your cut man. I was with you in New York City when you fought against Harrison the first time. I know you won that fight. I just want to make everybody know that you haven't lost. You've never lost in my eyes.
Thank you, San Antonio. Joe, you from San Antonio, so I appreciate you coming. Thank you. For sure. I don't feel like I lost, but it's boxing.
So there we have it, folks. Again, Saturday night, Showtime Championship Boxing, 9 o'clock Eastern, that is 6 o'clock Pacific time, 3-fight card. You do not want to miss it. If you want tickets, you got to go to AT&TCenter.com. Your tickets, the main event, and cannot say it enough, the undisputed 154-pound title is on the line. JERMELL CHARLO, Brian Castaño. It's going to be one hell of a night at the AT&T Center here in San Antonio. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Guys, let's face off and let's start with the first fight of the night.
Va a ser con el hit, ¿no? Primero
Need the bell? Ready?
Down here in the middle.
Right here? La foto, me imagino.
Down here in the middle. Right here, guys. All right, thank you. Vamos allá.
Vamos allá.
Vamos Argentina.
Vamos allá.
Brian, decirle que te lo dé ya, para que se lo lleve.
Lions only, baby. Let's get that belt.
Vamos Argentina.
Vamos
allá. Que esta banda ilumina, no te deja de alentar. Vamos,
Aquí estoy.
Excuse me.
Aquí estoy.
anyone for Castaño here? All right, guys, far away from Mel, please. Jamel, you know, forget. Oh, go ahead. Jamel, I already know, man. Forget about what the media or fans are talking about. But did you look up to the De La Hoya, the Hearns, the Terry Norris, the guys that if you win Saturday, you're cemented with them forever? Does that matter?
I have my own guys that I pay attention to, and I like Edwin Valero. Edwin Valero was like kind of like my mentality, and that's why I rock with him. I rock with Juan Guzman. I got the opportunity to put him on my team. It's just this shit is amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like just imagine if you had somebody like De La Hoya, one of them that you really look up to, and that's how you resemble some of their moves, and you add on to your team. It's amazing.
Talk about bringing Juan Guzman to the team.
Huh?
Talk about bringing Juan Guzman to the team and what he's done with you.
Yeah, I mean, he is the greatest energy. Juan Guzman gave me so much energy, so much positivity, so much, that's a part of the hidden secret, it's a gem that I have that I'm going to release that on Saturday.
Jermell, you seem like in some of the better moods I've ever seen on a fight week. I feel like you're really, really enjoying it. You're here at home.
it's like you said, you've thought about it since a kid. When you think back on those memories, how young were you when you really were like, man, like I want to be the best of the best. I want to be
like I was fighting. I was in Mexico or in Brownsville, close to the valley, chilling with Emmanuel Augusto, watching Floyd Mayweather fight Marquez, and thinking about being an undisputed champion, and thinking about being able to get that time where I could be my name and my face on the banner. Like those are the moments that like a lot of fighters probably sometimes won't even ever get. So it's bigger than just being a undisputed champion. It's about just getting that opportunity to be the main guy.
Do you feel like Castaño, the pressure he's bringing is going to be more heat than Rosario was, or Harrison in those?
Yeah, I think he's going to end up bringing more heat. But like you said, he's going to have to slow some of that shit down, or it's going to be a bad night for him. Eyes can get cut, nose can get broke. Things are dangerous, you know. Like I'm a dangerous fighter. I know that about me. I know that everything can be painful. Within jabs to every punch is bad. You know, I've utilized and I've put these things into my regimen throughout my whole life and career, and now it's the time to be undisputed and fight for the best and give all of what I put into at that night.
JERMELL,
36 minutes. 36 minutes.
JERMELL, you mentioned obviously right now maybe not thinking about Hall of Fame, but there's things that you want to accomplish, things you want to prove in the sport. Obviously, other than becoming an undisputed Saturday night, what are some of those things? You know, maybe multi-division champion, or what are things that you feel you want to accomplish?
Just leaving a memorable background for boxing, for myself and my twin brother, the Charlo. You know, we never know what our children want to do growing up, and the biggest thing for me is being able to set a great platform for my family, my children, my young ones, my junior, you know, stuff like that. And you never know right now, you know what I'm saying? And so I have a sense of urge to want to put on one of the best performances, and not just for this fight, but just you never know. You never know what's next after this. So that's another main reason why I'm greater than ever. I have a boxing gym I own, and I got amateur fighters that's looking up to me. The sky's the limit for me, man.
JERMELL, what do you think about that stat? I believe he throws the most punches in the division. You happen to throw the least. Is that maybe a benefit for you? Like you said, when the few that you do, they come with heat, right?
I mean, you have to know boxing to understand that, you know, if I throw the least amount of punches, they cannot just be normal punches. Obviously, you know, we'll see, man. I know he throws a lot of punches, and I threw over 2,000 punches in one session in my last in training with one Guzman. You know, these are the things that I'm talking about. So I'm excited. Like I'm excited to see if I could possibly portray some of that stuff that I've learned and put that into my boxing fight night. You know what I mean?
I mean, we see Canelo doing that. You know, being economic, selective with his punches. Floyd before him.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's the trend we're going in the elite ranks?
You can't just throw punches. You know? You can throw all of these punches. That's not gonna do nothing for you and let you know, significantly throwing some dangerous shots. And I think that's what I've been doing for the last past years.
And JERMELL, you know, it's between you and Jamal. You know, 1 year he's got more of the shine. 1 year you got. How's it feel that right now the shine's on you? How's that feel?
It's little Charlo's, you know. Period. I know he shines. I shine. We shine together. It's not about we can never compare us or separate us because we're one.
JERMELL, do you believe that Castaño's making a mistake by revealing his game plan? Usually fighters don't do that.
I don't know if necessarily he revealed the game plan. I just think that he spoke up on things that he might have to make adjustments to. We all know that adversity comes in bites. You got to make adversity. So you got to make changes and decisions during the adversity. So that's maybe what he was mostly speaking about.
JERMELL, I know it's better saved for after the fight, but is this the swan song at 154? Is this the last hurrah?
No, I make it really easy. I'm actually 157 right now. I haven't even worked out today, so I'm going to get my workout in. I was walking around 155, 156. So I'm really a solid 154 pounder. I love it. Like I love this weight division. It's easy for me to make the weight. I don't want to move up to 160 because that contradicts my brother, and it contradicts Earl Spence, and he wants to move up. Who knows what's next for me though?
JERMELL, are you sparring with Spence? Obviously, he's a left-hander.
No, Castano not necessarily a left-hander. Actually, I want that to be understood. But no, I'm not. I didn't get any work with Spence. We did train in Dallas, but I didn't get any work with Spence.
Did you get a chance to watch that Kings documentary on Showtime? about Leonard and Hearns?
No, I didn't get to watch it. I didn't get that. Maybe I could tune into that a little bit before I fight.
It's inspiring. Yeah.
Talk about the other fighters in the division at 154 that you needed.
Everybody kind of good, you know. Like everybody in this division is you know, I didn't ran through a bunch of them, but they you know, thank God they help pay bills and keep my life, you know, like this. But I'm ready, you know. Like everybody in the division, they want some of this, they can come get it. I know the young ones coming up, and I got some ones that's wanting to transition over to my division, but that's why I'll show y'all Saturday night why it's kind of like, okay, we got to second guess that decision.
What about Terrence Crawford? If he ever is willing to go to 54, you think that's a good fight?
They can make some money. Yeah.
I believe Danny Garcia also is looking at 154.
A lot of guys. Why they don't fight each other? Leave me the hell alone. Let them fight each other.
Well, they want the champ. You know that.
Right. Well, they got to work their way up to the champ. They go come prove. I can't see you until you prove it. Right? I've been proving it.
Jermell, obviously, your last fight behind closed doors, you know, because of the pandemic and whatnot, seeing Jermell do his thing in Houston last month, did that kind of give you even, like you say, more jet fuel, you know, to Saturday night here in San Antonio?
My brother fought a different opponent than when I faced him, so there's a different way to opponent. I don't necessarily know it. I don't want to say that gave me jet fuel, but I do feel that my brother pushed me to, you know, it's my turn. He said, hey, I want to go back. You know, I didn't get a home run, but you got a grand slam. I gotta go get it.
Well, I'm saying, like, having the fans in the arena more than anything.
The fans, I love the fans. Thank you so much for the fans, but when I'm in there, I don't even see the fans.
Hey, Jermell, when you think back like 5 years ago when you and your brother and Laura all fought the same night, all 154 champs.
Yeah, when I won the world title.
Bit of a round robin, yeah, but you won your title.
Yeah.
Bit of a round robin been going on. Can you sort of reflect on how great the fights have been in the past 5 years and what it's created? And this is where it's
well, that's the thing about me. I think that every fight that I have had for the last 10 years have been tough fights. And because of that, that's what lead me into the victories that I've been having lately. And the reason why this fight is important is because now you have a guy that's hungry, he's rough, he wants to fight, he wants to win. He's going to come in. I felt like I was already punching him face to face right now when I was there. But I'm excited to be there, and I know these are the fights that made me to be the champion that I am. You know, I don't just have these belts for no reason. I know that they did come from one opponent. Most of them came from one opponent when I saw Rosario, but Rosario was a tough brother guy. But I was the guy that exposed him and dissected, showed you guys what it was about. You know,
two left standing.
Right.
I remember you had to come from behind to win your title that night against John Jackson.
Yep.
That seems like a guy you'd have a much easier time with, the fighter you are now. Was it that Harrison rematch that you found something out about yourself that, you know, like Canelo did in that Golovkin rematch? Or why? How are you a better fighter and why?
I just grew as a man, and you know, I'm happier as a person that I am, but I just don't. I mean, my firepower just within myself. I mean, I'm just that guy. You know, like I gotta think about it. Sometimes I gotta be on the outside looking in at myself, and stop trying to be the fighter all the time, and also play victim. I gotta step up in certain moments, and that's what it's about when you're in the ring. That's that face adversity. So who knows? We might have to face adversity in this fight, but I'll pull through.
You know, just to be technical about it, X's and O stuff. Do you feel like Castaño throws shorter punches on the inside in close range?
He throws some strong short shots that on the inside, but you know, defense and all of these other things matter. You want to count it up and reserve your energy and stuff. It's a lot of different things that you got to worry about.
Two more questions. What's Castaño going to be most surprised about when he steps in the ring with you?
He's going to be surprised about my reach and my distance and how I utilize it.
You become undisputed Saturday night. Obviously, Errol fighting Manny next month. He's unified. What's that say about Derrick James and, you know, obviously the success that he's been able to bring to you all's performance inside the ring?
Derrick James is a very unique person, you know what I'm saying? He's just deeper than boxing for Derrick and I. And knowing that he got Earl Spence, knowing he got, you know, me, and we both got major fights coming up, and that's why I have to do the things that I have to do. And you know, it makes him such a phenomenal coach. I know there's other coaches out there like the one that trains Canelo, the Vanessa guy. And he got a stable. He got some stables, you know. He got some studs, and you got to give him their respect, you know. But Derrick James is right there with the top.
All right, thank you guys. That's a wrap.
Thank you, Jermell.
Stay right here. I'm going to bring Ollie over if you guys want to.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Jermell. Yeah, appreciate your time.
Guys, I'm going to bring Romero right here.
That guy.
Bro, it's because where's Castaño? Right now.
What's up, brother? Did you feel like your opponent, Anthony Yiget, sounded confident up there? Did you? I know you like to sense that fear. Did you sense any of that?
Man, he knows what's up. He knows what's up. But you know, I gotta give him respect because you know what? At least he ain't fucking pushed out like the other motherfuckers. He came over here, and like I said, he knows what the fuck he's getting himself into. The other motherfuckers sit down.
Gracias, Brian.
Una pregunta de cada uno nada más que tenemos que irnos, por favor. Brian, hace una semana viniste a Argentina con la Copa América. ¿Quieres que regresar a Argentina como campeón, obviamente, con todos los cinturones? ¿Qué significa eso para ti?
La verdad que sí, muy contento por la victoria de Argentina, ¿no? La Copa América fue un pequeño empujón un gran empujón para mí anímicamente, ¿no? Para poder hacer lo mismo, ¿no? Creo que es la oportunidad y volver con los puestos cinturones para Argentina disfrutando de la misma manera, para mí sería un sueño y eso es lo que a eso venimos, ¿no? A cumplir nuestros sueños y nuestras metas, ¿no? Haciendo un gran trabajo y aprovechamos ahora.
Brian, we just saw Manu Ginobili send a message of encouragement and showing you some love. I want to say just yesterday. What does that mean for you, especially knowing that you're fighting in the city he made so much history? Vimos el mensaje que Manu Ginobili te mandó. ¿Qué significó para ti? Vas a pelear en la ciudad donde él jugó tantos años, hizo mucha historia aquí en San Antonio. ¿Qué fue eso para usted?
Creo que nada, Manu Ginobili para mí fue un grande, para toda Argentina, ¿no? Un gran deportista, él alentó a muchos jóvenes a cumplir sus sueños también, ¿no? Y creo que el mensaje que me envió ayer fue gratificante, me llenó mucho de adrenalina y sentir su apoyo a la distancia, ¿no? Sabiendo que voy a pelear en su casa y tratar de hacer una de las hazañas que hizo él también acá, ¿no? Creo que su energía bien recibida y para mí fue un placer.
Brian, aquí estás en San Antonio, una victoria que fue para el Chino Maidana cuando le ganó el John Runner. ¿Qué tipo de motivación te puede dar, sabiendo que tú tienes esta tierra donde quizás fue la mejor victoria de Chino?
Sí, realmente, ¿no? Creo que también es un empujón, digo, todo se puede, obviamente, peleas son peleas, boxeadores son diferentes, Charlo es un gran campeón, siempre lo dije, es fuerte, pero yo también tengo lo mío, por algo llegué donde estoy y hoy en día soy campeón mundial de la WBO, entonces nada, hay que subir y demostrar cada uno de qué está hecho. Yo hice mi trabajo al 100 y nada, tengo que cerrarlo al millón, al sábado, así que nada, estoy contento y esperando, ¿no? A que llegue la hora, ¿no?
¿Eres el campeón que quiere más corto como que ¿eras un tipo de guerra?
Sí, seguro. Obviamente, nosotros trabajamos en base a ello. Siempre estamos preparados para tirar los 12 rounds. Si nos tenemos que plantar y tirar menos golpes y más de poder, también podemos hacerlo. Así que nada, por eso te digo, peleas son peleas y es hora de demostrarlo, ¿no? Este sábado vamos a ver quién tiene que llevarse los puestos cinturones.
¿Crees que va a tener el apoyo de los mexicanos que están aquí en San Antonio? Sabemos que les gusta el boxeo que va para frente, que tira golpes. ¿Crees que la afición te va a apoyar?
Ojalá Dios quiera. El pueblo latino siempre me mandó su fuerza, siempre apoyándome y mucha gente en el gimnasio no estaba ahí en Sogue, ahí en el Raw Boxing, ahí con Mike y Edgar, que son los del gimnasio, me brindaron siempre el apoyo y la gente que iba siempre me brindó su hospitalidad, todo latino, mexicano, así que espero que me hagan el aguante.
Y si eres un boxeador que consigue los 4 coronas, el primer argentino, segundo latino en toda la historia, ¿qué se quería pasar a Chino Maidana, pasar un poco más y llegar a más que nada hacer historia?
No, obviamente cada uno escribió su historia, no creo pasar por arriba de ninguno ni ser mejor que otros. Creo que cada uno crea su historia y deja su sello marcado en el boxeo de su país, ¿no? Creo que en mi país ha habido grandes campeones y no creo que opacar a ninguno. Estoy haciendo mi trabajo y obviamente en la actualidad hoy en día soy el que tiene la bandera, así que vamos a llevarla bien.
Gracias.
No, chicos, ya está. Listo. Ahora pasaste con Chavo y ya. Sí, no, espera. Espera que va a ser 10 pin ahora. Si querés, o sea, si querés que te espera, no pongo también. Espera.
Ahí vengo a una entrevista, ¿eh? Un segundo.
Hola, Brian.
¿Para allá?
Sí. Y ya lo voy.
Ahorita no, muy temprano, ya. Después del pasaje.
You like a cigar? Hola.
¿Cómo estás? ¿Todo bien?
Bien, bien. We're waiting on Derrick James, so stay tuned. So we'll get stuff.
Very entertaining, and we know we got to have some big names about the bag. Jared Hernandez decided move forward a couple weeks to Jerome Davidson, phenomenal show, leaving on the undercard. Just talk to us about that. The country has thus far, coming on this
But I wasn't sure. We've seen their possibilities. The ratings are starting to change like the glamour and now, but coming out of the pandemic, I'm sure you have a lot of membership teams. And I think it's just a young man to doing other things. We got the same without the crowd. So we're also not just it's getting the sport back implemented for us. That is going consistently, really awkward.
Catch that whenever I ask them.
So I think you're probably most proud of us.
Was that the press conference? Yeah, it was like very important. To Brian or Vince? No, I asked them that. I was like, hey, where's you know, and you were already recording. I don't think so. Yeah, I got it in there. Was it at the beginning? Yeah, like, I'll check. Or you can check whatever check. Let me know if you want me to cut it out or something.
No, I don't care.
Uh-oh.
This guy was looking for it like fucking
fights in a row now on pay-per-view.
it kind of seems like things are picking up as far as like stars. Do you feel that is
Yeah, absolutely. Like, this last fight was sort of another starvation an even bigger crowd this time. And really performance against a really tough Mario Barrios. He just felt it inside. You know, takes to maturing as a star. He's becoming one of the biggest names in baseball. It's good to have a young Wilson and has a long career that generating so there's some big fights happening. Having kids step up. We've been with, what is it? I said it like 6 years ago. JERMELL was off to the undercard of a show. And to go from there to like the second year, 6 years, it just shows, you know,
obviously, summer's off to a great start. It'll be great night Saturday night. Just announced next month. Well, we've got locations now. So, August 28th, Benavides, hometown fight against the very next day, Showtime pay-per-view. Jake Paul, Tyron Woodley, middleweight. I feel like Alvarez in that division.
Yeah, that's a natural match. I mean, I think David's another guy is really the potential star. When we talk about sort of for the next generation, we talk about Tank, we talk about Benavides, we talk about Shawn Ennis. You know, those are the three guys. I think you're going to see David, you know, like Tank, like Jerron, always excited every morning fight. He's got the size, he's got the Southpaw was Southpaw. And for you to get with that, that fights.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, good stuff.
I think there's a
that was the question. Yeah. That's first. That was the last
finishing off this last career with Charlo, Benavides, Slam. I think those are the
what was the thought process of going separate routes? And I just talked to the world about that car. Undercard fight for that.
Yeah, I think, you know, we had put these events together, you know, simultaneously. Maybe there could have been a way to work them out together. But the reality is, we had promised David the opportunity to fight. He was going down as a headliner. You know, Jake also ultimately wanted to go to his hometown. So it's going to be a tough sledding, tough job, huge production. We've never done huge events like that back to back. It's probably a requirement to go, flying private late at night, speed and light, flying to Cleveland together the next day. And you know, it's a big thing, but the reality is, we're at this point where sports are like sound kind of fun. It's like a challenge between MMA, I don't know, fun football starting the NBA currently. It's such a busy schedule. You know, there really is. There's no openings until August, September, November. So, you know, again, one thing we saw was Mayweather, that Sundays he works. So, Jake said, all the Saturdays we take, there's a couple of big payments, Spence Pacquiao. So, it's reality is that let's do it on Sundays. And I think it'll be really entertaining week there.
What are your thoughts on arguably, if not the best top
Not while I was here. For a second.
Let me 18 months ago, I said you're absolutely insane. You would have said, we'd be doing interviews with both Logan and James. You know, the Logan and was sort of, it was a pivotal one. It was something that came in with are you seeing that smart? We're going to back whatever he does. The Logan thing, Logan called us and we started a conversation. He's committed. He's still building a boxing career. As long as he's going to go as far as his talent takes him. But as far as
It's not bad content.
I would say, I would probably say,
Thank you, man. Derrick, how you doing, sir?
Do it 2 times.
There you go.
Have a confidence, bring back, then do it again. Then be gonna take it again. Then they say, oh, that's something.
Right. Good. I can't wait for that fight, man. Good luck. Thank you, Derrick.
Hello, Derrick. How you doing, sir? Yeah, can we talk a little bit? Yeah, thank you. Cal Artist Sports right here with the great Derrick James. Man, just first congratulations, man. 2 enormous fights coming up. Obviously, a unification with Spence and Pacquiao, undisputed. Just talk about, as a coach, man, what is that like? Just not only getting the recognition from your peers, but also just seeing it yourself, obviously, and getting these fights, putting your guys in these positions.
You know, what I would say is like today, the boxing coach I had when I was a kid, buried today. He had a funeral today. And growing up, we would always come over to the house on Saturdays and watch some pay-per-view fights. And the only thing that stopped me from watching pay-per-view fights at his house was we were the fighters. And I was at the fight. So you think about that whole full circle moment. And to me not being able to go to the funeral because of me fighting for the Undisputed Championship. So it's like, a lot of stuff going on, man. But it's beautiful to be able to get to this particular point. It's beautiful to just and be able to do what you do.
being a fighter before and then transitioning to trainer, when did you kind of start envisioning the change, and then when did you realize, like, damn, I'm good at this?
Well, it wasn't necessarily a change what I was able to do. I had to remove myself from the equation. Never compare myself. I used to do this. I could do this talking to the guys, but they're not me. And as long as I keep training like I am, so fighting, they can never respect me. Because my ego was too big to even tell them something that they could even receive, right? But I never really, I just think that I think I'm good at what I do. This is what I say. The other trainers are not better than me, and I'm not better than them. Because I don't care to be, I just care to continue to help my guys to be successful, help my guys to win. That's what I care about. All the other stuff, I'm not so concerned about.
That's probably the sign of a great trainer, right? Is having that selflessness. The stat about Castaño throwing the most punches in the division, JERMELL throwing the least, is that maybe an advantage, being that JERMELL throws some potent punches, or how do you see that stat? Does that matter at all?
I don't really think it matters, to be honest. I think that if he does throw the most, he does throw the least. But if you look at the top guys, you look at those knockouts. I mean, and it's like, so who knows? I mean, really, that's a great matchup. I believe it's a great matchup. I think that you'll have to be something. You'll have to be something, and JERMELL have to be something that nobody has seen before. And that's what we're looking forward to.
I asked JERMELL about if he had sparred Earl in this camp, being that he's southpaw, and obviously Castaño southpaw. He said he didn't. Is that? Well, I'm assuming that's your call, but
He fights right-handed, but he does switch up tricks.
right. Oh, is that why maybe no need for them to spar, or is that just a decision you just decided maybe it's not?
It just didn't add up like that. It didn't get the happen.
It didn't work out that way, yeah. So speaking of Earl, man, he's looking good. Obviously, we saw him in LA looking in shape. Just tell us how training camp's going for Earl.
Training camp's going phenomenal, man. These are both moments that you couldn't, if you wrote a script and said, this is how I'm going to do this, it wouldn't, the script you wrote wouldn't even add up like that, right? Because it couldn't, some things you would miss. But it's like, it's beautiful, it's amazing, and I just do my best to stay in the moment, man, and not think so far here, to be right here and be present. That's the focus.
With it being Manny Pacquiao and Earl wanting this fight for a long time, and just again being the legend Manny Pacquiao, is there any difference in Earl that you see, any different level of intensity, or is he kind of always at 100?
I think that the Manny Pacquiao, the idea of it, and his greatness brings out more, because the intensity that Manny Pacquiao brings is non-stop. So that part of it is something that we have to be prepared for mentally and physically. So I think that adds them to, it makes him be better. It makes him be sharp. It makes him work faster. It makes him, because he has to. If not, he's going to be blown out the door like everybody else. All the other guys.
Is part of the mental game for you as a coach? I hear a lot of people, I'm sure you hear the same thing, when they spar Manny, they fight Manny, it's the angles are real difficult, his foot movement's real difficult, kind of the speed of the punches. Is that a mental game for you, kind of letting Earl know, like, it's going to be a chess match at first, you're going to have to kind of figure it out at first?
Well, I let him put it like this. I train, I prepare, I train out. So I'm giving angles, and I'm doing the exact same thing that Manny does. The angles, my hand speed is not his hand speed. My foot, my angles and reactions. So it's like, you try to mimic the opposition. And we do, I do a pretty decent job at it. We'll get there, Manny will be faster than obviously. We take a minute to adjust, but hopefully a minute, maybe a round or two. And that's the challenge.
Do you stand southpaw when you do that as well, for the whole effect?
What's funny about it is, like, when I got really into it, I was like, it felt funny. Right. Now, it's just non-stop. I can do it easier.
Right.
Because even when I box, I could do southpaw, I just never did. But to do it now and build on it, like I do it naturally. I don't even think about it.
Is that like a different, it's kind of like a different muscle memory set, right? That you have to kind of get back?
I'm all damn like this, but then so even when I talk to Errol, I talk to him from a right hand perspective.
Right.
And now when I'm working around, I do it from a left hand perspective.
Right. That's always interesting to me. Hear trainers talk about that. Lastly, man, I talk to a lot of people, and I do get a lot of 50-50. I get kind of a good amount of people saying Spence, a good amount of people saying Pacquiao. Is that basically how you see it as well, as a 50-50 fight?
No, man, I think my guys will win the fight, but at the same time, I think that it's a 12-round fight, so it's very difficult. You know, it's difficult. I'm not a sidekick, but I think it's a 12-round fight. My guys are prepared for 12 rounds, so I think he's going to be prepared for the Manny Pacquiao for 12 rounds, the intensity level. I think that this will be a first fight that Manny may fight somebody who can match his intensity level for that consistent amount of rounds. 12 rounds, that's the difference, so we'll see.
Man, I'm excited to see it. Thank you so much, Derrick James. Appreciate your time, sir. Thank you.
You got a few minutes left?
What's up, Martin? Ryan left? Yeah. I didn't get anything in English. I just got Spanish. My channel in English is a little iffy about Spanish. I mean, it works sometimes.
There was a big group with him earlier, so.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. What's up, bro? Man, we gotta talk to the WC, bro. Where's Trinidad?
That's true.
What the heck? Where's Mauricio? There he is. I'm gonna jump up on him. Be like, bro, where's Trinidad, bro? We got Terry Norris over here, Winky Wright. We even got Pacquiao, who has one fight at 54. And it was at 52. Or 50. Well, the little, yeah.
You do?
Yeah, kinda. It should work.
Sorry.
No problem. Does that work?
You didn't happen to have anything that...
Do you have a micro?
You didn't happen to have anything connected. This fits with a lot of stuff.
I have...
My dumbass forgot it.
The only cord that I have that has that, I want to say was like...
Because I mean, like a Dre Beach charger works with it, Xbox.
See, it just doesn't connect.
I see.
See, I could charge your camera, but
right.
Like that's. I mean, if it works for you,
I see.
But you see what I mean?
Yeah.
That doesn't have SD card.
It does.
It's internal or something, or what?
Yeah. Sometimes the SD card doesn't work.
Oh.
Well, I mean, thank you.
Yeah, bro. That's yeah.
I think it is very possible. Canelo's a free agent, so he doesn't have any contract. And we know that he's not. He doesn't hesitate to take fights, take exciting fights. I know Canelo said in the past that he doesn't really like fighting other Mexican fighters. So whether he can get past that or not, that's his choice. But for the boxing fan, those are two of the most exciting fights. I think Canelo has been dominant lately. And he's fought guys who are very good fighters, but not quite up to his level. And I think the boxing fans want to see him in challenging fights. And Charlo and Benavidez, along with Meyer, are probably the three most challenging fights he can take at 168. I do. I think, look, I think the most challenging fights are those three. I'm not saying that any three of those climb but all three of them are big, strong guys. They're legit. 168 pounders. Jamal isn't, but he certainly has the size to be in that aggressive. So I think if you say at 168 who has the best chance of winning. He's the king of the world. I think we've got to get started on top of this. I'm really like trouble next year. That's why Boston fans are absolutely. Absolutely.
Steven, got a little more time?
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Hey.
Water Sports are here with the great Steven Espinoza. Man, you guys have been on a run, man. I feel like we've been all around this country.
Yeah, we're exhausted. We're as exhausted as you are.
Yeah, but I'm not complaining, man, because each one of these fights is just top of the line for boxing. You know what I mean? Let's talk about this one. Obviously, undisputed, never been done before in the 4-belt era. To talk to me about it, I feel like the significance of it. I mean, this is the first one ever. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I think lately there's been sort of a habit, maybe a sort of mini tradition. People like to say, complain about the quality of fights. And top guys aren't fighting top guys. And I think certainly, there are some misses, some fights that should have been made. But I think if we actually look closer, a lot of these big fights are happening. You look at this fight, this is a great opportunity. This is the best fighting the best, and we've got, we've had on our schedule the last 12 months, we've had 4 unifications. All the other ones, going back to, Charlo Rosario, and we're going to have, Figueroa, we're going to have Figueroa and
Fulton, right?
Fulton, there we go, Stephen.
I got you.
Thank you. Exactly.
There's a lot going on, I know.
Right. And I think if we all have nostalgia about, way back when things were great. But sometimes that gets in our way of appreciating. There are people taking time. I mean, Spence Pacquiao is a great fight. Wilder Fury, is another great fight. There are great fights. There are guys who are taking on the best of the best. And I think if we sort of stop focusing on the negative and saying, okay, well, this one fight didn't happen, and there are some fights out there, we need to start recognizing, well, there's a lot of good fights that are happening.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. Like you said, this one is incredible. Talk about that stat. Castaño throws the most punches in the division. Mel throws the least. How does that play out in the fight, you think?
I think Castaño is one of the rare guys that I think says what he's going to do and actually does it. There's a lot of people who say what they're going to do, and it's misdirection. I don't think it is. I think he's going to come in, pressure him, try to get in close, make it an ugly, rough fight. It's tough to outbox JERMELL. I mean, he's athletic, he's long, he's got power, he's really well schooled by Derrick James. So I think Castaño's got the right strategy. He's got to come in and make it ugly, make it rough. You don't want to stay on the outside and get picked apart by JERMELL. And I think that's what those stats say. If you let JERMELL, be at his leisure, at distance, and he can pick his shots, be pinpoint, and pick you to death, then it's going to be a long night. You have to get him out of that comfort zone. And I think it's a really good way to look at the stats and say, okay, don't let him in his comfort zone. His comfort zone is picking his shots, engaging when he wants to engage. Make him engage 3 minutes of every round, and maybe it'll be a different result.
That's an excellent point, man. I hadn't even broke it down like that. That's an excellent point. Quickly, got to get your take, man. Manny Pacquiao versus Errol Spence, incredible matchup. The legends, still fighting the top guys at 42.
Look,
Tell me about it.
We're all waiting for Pacquiao to get old. And there are people saying he was old in 2015 when he fought Floyd. But he's looked very good since then. I mean, that had more to do with Floyd shutting him down than Manny Pacquiao got old. But I thought Keith Thurman was going to be, and that, seeing Manny win, pretty clearly was sort of a revelation. So you really can't count him out. At some point he has to get old, but people have lost fights and probably lost a lot of money, betting on Pacquiao getting old.
Right.
So having said that, this is clearly Manny's toughest fight since the Mayweather fight. Errol doesn't really have any weaknesses. He's got power, he's got strength, he's got skill. He's fought in tough fights. You still have to give the nod to Errol, but again, you can go broke betting against Manny Pacquiao.
That's a great point. That's a great quote.
Yeah.
That should be on a shirt somewhere.
Yeah.
Wilder Fury 3 just got postponed. October 9th, I believe, something like that. Yeah. What? Tell me about it. Break
Yeah,
down
I mean, look, it's disappointing, and it's disappointing for the fighters. At this point, I'm sure nobody wants it this way, but it almost adds to the melodrama. This has been such a saga, going back all the way to December of, I guess, 2018, when we did Wilder Fury, the first one. And that was sort of an epic fight in itself, the way that fight played out. And, to say, we're here on the third fight almost 3 years later, and so much has happened in between. And again, I think it's one of those cases, in the heavyweight division, one punch can change everything. And I think in that second fight, Fury had success early, and you can't let that happen in the heavyweight division. It'll never recover. Like, you get hurt early against a good heavyweight, it's over. So I don't think the second fight says anything about how the third fight is going to go. Because, if Wilder's the one who does damage first, then it can be a short fight the other way. Right. So I think that's why people love the heavyweights is, it does only take one punch.
Yeah, no, it's the intrigue for sure. Last subject I want to talk to you about, Canelo's in negotiations with Caleb Plant for PBC. I know you work closely, obviously, with PBC. Are you involved in that at all?
No, it's a PBC discussion. Look, we definitely voiced, our desire. I'm sure, what network wouldn't want to have Canelo on. We've got a history with him. We've worked with him before, helped launch him in pay-per-view. I think for the good of the sport, I hope, that the Plant fight does get made. Having undisputed champions is always good for the sport. But I think beyond Plant, there's some good opportunities there. JERMELL CHARLO, David Benavidez. I think, even Errol Spence has been mentioned. With Errol moves up. I think those are great fights. I think those, more so than Canelo moving to 175, which has also been discussed. I think staying at 68 and fighting, those four guys, I think would make fans really, really happy.
Right. The name I keep hearing whenever I ask who's Canelo's biggest threat is David Benavidez. So
size-wise, length, activity, like he's got a lot of tools, against him. And I think JERMELL also has the size, the length, the athleticism, and enough power to maybe cause problems too.
Yeah, no, it's hopefully it happens, man. Hopefully we see it.
I'm optimistic because I think Canelo's gone through this period. He's been gathering up some belts and doing mandatories. They haven't been the most challenging fights, but that's not his point. You can only fight who has the belt or who's the mandatory. But now he's going into a period where I think he can choose his opponents. And we've seen him, when he's free to do that, he takes tough fights. He doesn't back down from a challenge. So I think it's optimistic. I think we'll see some really exciting fights in the next stage of Canelo's fight.
Right, definitely. But just my last question, being part of Showtime, now that HBO's out of it, is it a little easier to navigate the boxing world a little bit?
It's sort of like weeds a little bit. You pull one weed and three others pop up. So, the reality, and I'm not calling our competitors weeds,
right.
but the thing about it is, for all the people complaining, saying boxing is dying and boxing is dead, if it were dying, there wouldn't be company after network after platform getting into it. You have DAZN getting into it, you have Fox expanding into it, you have ESPN expanding to it, you've got, Triller and others trying to expand it. So for a dying business, we sure have a lot of people trying to get into the business, and I think it's because there is a tradition, and there's a lot of interest. I think, in terms of popularity, I think we're about to see a really popular period, and I think it's because, the sport has engaged with the youth again, and I think it's because of some of the younger fighters. Some of it is probably from, the Pauls and other social media influencers, bringing people into the sport. But I think the sport is really healthy, and that's why we keep seeing more and more people in.
Yeah, definitely. Steven Espinoza, man, tell the fans where they can follow you with Twitter, Instagram, I don't know where.
Twitter at Steven Espinoza. Yeah.
There it is.
Very simple.
Appreciate you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
¿Todo bien?
Buenas noches. How you doing? ¿Cómo está?
That's going to be August 14th. So we can forward to that. That's going to be
Got a little more time, bro? I'll try to sound different, I promise. We'll see, though. Let's see. KO Art of Sports right here with the legendary Ronnie Shields. Man, this unification, undisputed. I don't even want to call it unification. I want to call it undisputed. Give it the respect it deserves. Firstly, man, I got to ask you about that stat that Castaño throws the most punches in the division and JERMELL throws the least. As a trainer, how do you see that? Advantage, disadvantage? How does that play out?
You know, I mean, I think you have to look at the fighters that each guy fought in order to, you know, because, you know, again, the style is going to make the fight. So I think Castaño is going to realize that he can't just walk in and just throw punches at JERMELL because maybe JERMELL's not going to be there. You know, so that should be a different thing for him, you know. But if he can get, you know, his game plan may be to get JERMELL into a firefight, you know. But then JERMELL's game plan may be not to get in a firefight, you know. So we're going to see how that play out. But, you know, just because he has success throwing a lot of punches against one guy doesn't mean he's going to have that same success with JERMELL. You know, the whole thing about it is landing punches and, you know, putting things together that's going to work for him.
Yeah.
So if he feels that's going to work for him, then, you know, bless him on that. No.
Well, I guess we'll see, right? Yeah. You were against Castaño, I believe, with Lara, right?
Lara.
Yeah. What did you take from kind of seeing him up close, seeing him kind of against Lara? What was the biggest thing you took from him? Like, well, that's surprising. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect him to be as strong as he was, you know. You know, just watching him on tape, and you know, sometimes you watch a guy on tape and it's not the same, because of course he's fighting a different fighter, so it's not going to be the same thing, you know, when your guy is fighting. But with Lara being a southpaw, you know, I just thought that, you know, Lara just had to outbox him, but Castaño, you know, I mean, he just kept coming. So I told Lara, I said, look, man, you fighting at his pace. You got to slow down. You got to fight at your pace. Because when you fight at your pace, you're going to do so much better. And then he did. He started standing Castaño up. And Castaño was just trying to look for a shot, and it wasn't there. And then Lara was on this side and on that side and kept turning him and, you know, confusing him a lot. So, but then he came back again, you know, and it ended up being a draw. It was a really close fight, you know, and I accepted the draw. But look, this guy Castaño can fight. He's really good, and I think the guy that's going to win is who make the adjustments, who make the adjustment to get the guy to really fight the way he wants him to fight, and you know, and JERMELL is really good at that. So Castaño, you know, he hasn't fought the level of competition that JERMELL has fought, but he's fought some really good competition, and you know, enough to where he's world champion.
Is there anything, being you're close to, you know, JERMELL and the Charlos and stuff, obviously, like did you kind of reach out and kind of, hey, this is what, like, maybe give him any tips, being that you had been in the ring?
No,
with him,
actually
just
no.
kind of Derrick James has it under control.
Yeah, I mean, but I would never call a guy and tell him something like that unless he would call and ask me. The thing about it is we talked yesterday, and he was telling me he's been watching the Lara fight, and he said, man, I heard you telling Lara that he should fight at his pace, not at Castaño's pace, and he said he really turned Lara around. He said that was smart.
He saw it, yeah.
So I say, same thing. It's good that you're watching that to see that, and so he knows it, and when he gets in his head when he in the ring, he's going to see what I was talking about.
That's pretty cool, man. Real quick, I got to get your take. Manny Pacquiao versus Errol Spence, an incredible fight. I know I've talked to you about that one, but I got to get your opinion on it. Obviously,
I'm favoring Errol Spence. I think because he's Errol Spence. Not for no other reason. I just think Errol right now is the best welterweight in the world right now. And until somebody beat him and change that, I think he is. But look, Errol Spence is he can fight. Man. He can box when he has to box, and when it's time for him to go forward, the guy, and he can punch. So that's a good thing. But on the opposite end, Manny Pacquiao is the same way, and he's been that same way forever.
Yes.
I mean, I'm telling you, man, this guy, he fights like he's 20 years old. He's fast. He got movement, he got this, he got that. But, I think in the Thurman fight, I kind of seen to where maybe the age is catching up with him just a little bit because he kind of faltered a little bit at the end. But, and I think Errol had to take advantage of that, Errol may want to, this is me talking, not nobody else. Errol may want to make him come out fast early and then, test him to see if he still has what he has late. But, I say the decision. I don't say a knockout.
How does the southpaw versus southpaw thing play out?
Yeah, that's good. See, the thing about it is this, is I can probably give you a better judge of, and even themselves, they probably know. They haven't fought southpaws in a long time. I think Manny 12 years and Errol like 6 years or whatever. That's a long time. And it's very different than being in the gym and sparring with somebody, because that's not the same.
Right.
So it's gonna be something kind of new. And like I was saying earlier, that I think the first couple of rounds is not going to be what people expect. That these guys ain't going to just come out and just jump on each other. They got, hey, let me see what this guy got before I try to make a move. So I think that's going to happen on both ends.
Yeah, I completely agree, because they're both professionals. They know what it is. They respect the other guy.
Yes.
Last one I want to get your take on, Wilder Fury 3 got postponed in October. But when it does, I hear a lot of boxing heads tell me that they see a lot of different out of Wilder in the kind of the training videos he's released. Would you agree with that, and why is that?
Well, I think Wilder has to be different now, because, I think when you get a different trainer, you'll see different things, and, Malik is not known to be a trainer, but he's known to be an ex-fighter, so who fought Wilder? But, look, I think that Wilder is teachable, and I think that, some of the things I've seen, I like that, the things that Malik is doing with it. But, Fury is going to probably be doing something different also. So I don't know. But, I think the postponement is the best thing that could happen for Wilder. I think it's better for Wilder than it is for Fury, because I think it gives him a little bit more time to get comfortable with the things that he's going to have to do, and the things that Malik is teaching him. So, so the longer he has, I think it's going to be better for Wilder than it is for Fury.
It's an interesting point. Ronnie, really appreciate your time, man. Thank you for sticking around. Tell the fans where they can follow you.
You can follow me at official Ronnie Shields.
There it is. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it, bro.
Coach Ryan, I'm not going to keep you long.
How's the internet here? How's the internet here?
Thank you.
If you did it work for you or no?
I had no idea
Oh,
if I
okay.
needed to.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No problem, bro. I got scary in Houston because all of a sudden like predators or something. Like I don't know. Yeah. Otherwise I have to go find one or fucking something. Right.
Well, Arrowhead is great. It's
That's one of the tough questions. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's one of the tough questions.
and they want to tell me that if you win the most
Oh, you're the man, bro. Thank you. Oh shoot, I was on that already. Wait, no, I wasn't. I'm lying. I was on the Thompson one. You're right. Yeah.
I love him too much now. Pretty big piece of shit. Piece of shit. Thanks, bro, for letting me use them.
Right.
No, I don't know. I gotta use this connector for and stuff.
Do we need to do access?
Yeah, same.
Oh, same. Oh. Oh, and you're like Eminem, you're Eminem looking.
And it's pretty similar to how I feel.
Right.
Is that everything was stupid?
Because it was back then.
Derrick James drops truth bombs on
Warning. Take out warning. No warning. Right, this should be fall off. Even if it says I'm not warning somebody, I'm put warning. In quotes.
You're warning.
Warning somebody.
Say he is. Yeah.
Depending on what time you ask them. Alright guys, I'm going to log out, but thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you like and subscribe. I'll be putting up all the videos now, so appreciate you guys watching. And hit the bell icon, hit the subscribe button. I'm going to be going live all week, so boys, so appreciate you guys. Thanks.